Hi everyone, good morning. Thi, can you please start?
Okay, so hello everyone. Okay. Hello everyone, Assalamu alaikum. This is Dithi, student consultant of Hassel for Education. So could you please type in the chat box that you can hear me properly? Hello everyone, Assalamu alaikum. This is Dithi. Okay, so at first I want to give cordially thanks to all of the students for keeping patience, because we all know that all of you are waiting for long days, right? So now could you please tell me who is the instructor of this course? If you know, please type in the chat box. Okay, well, so let me introduce. Your instructor name is MD Ahsan Habib. Basically, he is from Borishal, but currently lives in London. And he has completed his master's course in the UK at Birmingham City University in International Business and Management. So he is the owner of Hassel Free Education. Mainly Hassel Free Education is an organization where we are working for UK, USA, and Canada. So if you have a dream to complete your education, so we can help you from first to last. So what you need to continue this course? You just need three things like attention, paper, and pen. So now the question is what you will achieve after this course. So after this course, short course, you can speak in English without any hesitation. You have to attend all the classes and submit your homework on our Facebook group. After then, you will get a certificate from us. So I will not take more time. So our instructor is already here. So please welcome our instructor. So, sir, can you hear us?
Yeah. Yes, I can. Thank you. Thank you, Dithi, for your nice words. Can you please type in the chat box? If you can hear me and see me properly, type in the chat box. Yes, I'd like to see how many of you'd like to respond me. Just type in the chat box yes, so that I can understand. You can see me, hear me properly. Okay. Okay. Hussein Blog said yes, I can hear. Anybody else? Listener said yes. Alamgir said yes. Okay. Shaukat said yes. Shafi said yes. Okay. Okay, got it. Thank you. Thank you so much for responding. So let me pin it so that you can see me properly. Okay, thank you. Thank you for responding. I'm really honored to be here. I'm sorry, the voice is a little bit cracky. Anyway, I'll try my best to help you out. So thank you for joining today. And I can see over 100 students have joined today. So thank you for your response. I'm really glad that you are here. So can you please type in the chat box? Where are you from? Just I'd like to make sure that I connect with you properly. Just type in the chat box your city or town name. For example, I'm from Harlow, so I'm gonna type in Harlow. So where are you from? Where are you from? Type in the chat box, please. Where are you from? Very quickly, type in the chat box. Where are you from? Okay, so I'm getting again a lot of comments. So Sashukit say Dhaka, Sylhet, Bangladesh, Bidi, Mymensingh, Sunamganj. Okay, thank you for responding. Thank you for responding. Okay, before starting the class, I would like to share you a few things so that you can understand me properly. Okay, next question I'm going to ask you because I'd like to connect with you properly. So I'll make sure that um, I communicate with you properly as well. So number one question is, what do you think about yourself? The level of English is like beginner or mediocre or advanced level? Type in the chat box. Where are you right now? Type in the chat. What do you think? Are you a beginner, mediocre, or advanced? Type in the chat box, please, so that I can understand what's your level and what sort of lecture I should provide you. Right. So very quickly, please type in the chat box. What's the level you have got right now? Is it beginner? If you are beginner, please type in the chat box video beginner. If you are mediocre, that means you are not that much good, but not much bad also. So it's mediocre. And the last thing is advanced. Okay, excellent. Thank you. So I can see a lot of students are typing a beginner. Okay, got it. Thank you. So now the last question I'm going to ask you before studying the class is, what language do you speak other than English? So for example, what's your mother tongue? If it is Bengali, please type in the chat box Bengali. If it is other language like Hindi, Urdu, so type in the chat box. I'd like to see, because sometimes I'll try to explain something in Bengali because I know most of the students are from Bangladesh. So I'd like to speak, let's say 5 to 10% in Bengali, other than I'll just continue in English. So type in the chat box, what's the language you are speaking? Is it Bengali, Hindi? Just type in the chat box, please. I'll be waiting for your comments. Then I'll just go through the class. Okay. Okay. So a lot of students are saying Bengali, Bengali, Bengali. Okay. Okay. Someone said Nepali. Okay. Welcome. All right. So I can see probably over 95% students. So they speak in Bengali. So what I'm gonna do, sometimes I will try to explain in Bengali so that you can understand properly. Okay, so this class is very interesting. How many of you would like to speak English fluently in 12 days? I'm repeating my question. How many of you would like to speak English in 12 days? Type in the chat box 12. I'd like to see. How many of you would like to speak English in 12 days? Type in the chat box 12. Just 12. 1, 2. I'd like to see. So the course is designed such a way so that you can understand, properly. So that's why I have designed the course such a way. So by 12 days, you will get almost everything, whatever you need to speak. And once you got that, then you got to apply it. And once you applied, you will start speaking. So that's why. So I can see a lot of students, they are saying that, okay, they would like to speak in English 12 days. Okay, now the next question I'm going to ask you. Do you believe that you can speak English in 12 days? So if you believe, then please type in the chat box, yes, I believe in myself. Please type in the chat box, yes, I believe in myself. I'd like to see how many of you are really believe in themselves that you can speak in English in 12 days. Please type in the chat box, yes, I believe in myself. Very quickly, please type in the chat box, yes, I believe in myself. Okay. So I'm getting a lot of comments. So Hamimullah said yes. Imran Ahmed said I do. Mohammad Shuzan said yes. Ace Arif says no. Okay. Okay. Let me get the comments a bit closer so that I can see it properly. Okay, Zim Joy does said yes. Omar Farooq said yes. Okay, thank you. That means you are believing in yourself, right? So if you believe in yourself, all you got to do is you need to trust on yourself. Okay, now I can see a few students, they are saying, okay, they don't believe in themselves. So if you don't believe in yourself, that's fine as well, right? Put the trust on me. Just think about that. Okay, one of my mentors, one of my teachers, he promised me that if I listen to him for next 12 days, I'll be able to speak English fluently. That's awesome, right? So that's how you need to trust on me. And if you trust on me, I'm going to give you some sort of instruction. If you follow this step by step, you'll be able to speak in English. Okay. Now, I beg your pardon. I'll try to explain these things in Bengali as well, so that, you know, the beginners, they don't feel that, well, they are deprived of this class, right? So dear beginners, I'm here for you, right? যারা বিগিনার আছেন আমি তাদের জন্য। সো আপনাদের যেটা করতে হবে সেটা হলো জাস্ট কন্টিনিউ দ্য ক্লাস ফর নেক্সট 12 days। আপনারা অনেক কিছুই বুঝবেন না, probably at the end of the class 100%, probably you're gonna understand 30%, 40%, 50%, right? But still, if you continue for next 12 days, you will see the improvement, right? You will be able to speak English properly. That's my promise to you. So dear beginners, if I need to speak in Bengali to make you understand, I'll do that. যদি আমার বাংলা বলে আপনাদেরকে বুঝাইতে হয় সেটা আমি করব, যখন যেটা দরকার হয় সেটা আমি বাংলা এক্সপ্লেইন করব। So don't leave this class. আপনি যদি বিগিনার হয়ে থাকেন, don't leave the class. Just please continue the class. After 12 days, you will understand everything and you will start speaking as well. So that's why we name this group is Speak English in 12 days, right? Speak English in 12 days. So can you please type in the chat box, what's the challenge name? Is Speak English in 12 days. And inshallah, we'll start speaking in English in 12 days as well after finishing this class, right? So please type in the chat box, Speak English in 12 days. Speak English in 12 days. Very quickly, type in the chat box, Speak English in 12 days. I'd like to see how many of you really understood me and follow me. Speak English in 12 days. Type in the chat box very quickly. So I'm getting a lot of comments. Imran Ahmed said English is fine, I guess. Abdul Qadir said, okay, I agree. Rana Motor Chattogram said, okay. Punim Alam said, Bangla explain, okay. Okay, thank you. Thanks for responding. So please type in the chat box, Speak English in 12 days. If you follow my instruction, if you listen to me 100%, I can promise you, is guaranteed, you're gonna speak English in 12 days, right? Right, thank you. Thanks for responding. So now, so let me share with you how I'm gonna teach you and how you're gonna learn from me, right? There are 3 things you need to consider. It's learning, practicing, and presentation. Can you please type in the chat box? 3 words: learning, practicing, and presentation. আমরা এই পুরো ক্লাসটা 3 ভাবে এনজয় করব। একটা হলো ক্লাসে এসে আমরা অনেক কিছু শিখবো, দেন প্র্যাকটিস করব, দেন প্রেজেন্টেশন দিব, রাইট? সো প্লিজ টাইপ ইন দ্য চ্যাট বক্স, learning, practicing, and presentation. I'd like to see how many of you are really following me and you understand me. Type in the chat box, learning, practicing, and presentation. These are the 3 things you're going to follow through the course. And if you do these 3 things, you'll be able to speak English: learning, practicing, and presentation. So Mirza MD Sadman said learning, practicing, and presentation. Thank you, Mirza. So Tanvir said learning, practicing, and presentation. Thank you. Thanks for responding. Zubair said learning, practicing, and presentation. Okay, thank you. Thanks for responding. Learning, practicing, and presentation. Okay, Mamun, thank you. Thanks for your comment. Suni, thanks for your participation. Sarwar, thanks for your participation. Zahid, thanks for your participation. Okay, Mehdi said learning, practicing, and presentation. Thank you. Thank you for following me. Okay, now today's class, okay, is gonna be Very simple, very easy. All you got to do is just you need to learn that, practice that, and at the end of the class, you need to give a presentation, right? So how many of you would like to give a presentation at the end of every class? Type in the chat box, I will. I'd like to see how many of you would like to give a presentation at the end of every class. So if you will do, please type in the chat box, yes, I will. Okay, David Curran said learning, practicing, and presentation. Ramesh Raja said learning, practicing, and presentation. Okay, thanks for responding. So this is called participation, right? And I love it. And I love to communicate each other. I like the interactive way to teach you how to speak in English in 12 days. So please type in the chat box, I will. Okay, thank you for responding. So Nurul Haq said, I will. Sarwar Ahmed said, I will. Afaz Hussain said, I will. Iman Ahmed said, I will. Thank you. Thanks for responding. Now, today, we're going to learn very basic thing. Very, very basic. Have you heard about be verb? So if you have heard about be verb, please type in the chat box, be verb. I'd like to see be verb. Type in the chat box, be verb. I'd like to see how many of you are following me. Be verb. Okay. So that's going to be our class. However, please type in the chat box be verb, and by this time, I'm going to give you some more information. So it's going to be 12 class, and every day, every single day at the same time, same place. It's 8 a.m. in the UK time. So I would definitely recommend you to jump in the class on time. Second thing is, at the end of the class, you will get a presentation, and I'm going to suggest you a Facebook group. It's called UK Study Visa. So you're gonna go there and you're gonna just grab your phone and you're gonna give a presentation, right? And the third thing is, once you give 12 presentation, and at the end of the this course, you're gonna get a certificate. So how many of you would like to get a certificate, right? Can you please type in the chat box certificate? I would like to see how many of you would like to get a certificate. Okay. So, and by this time, you're going to have a class with British teacher as well. So I'm going to give you the opportunity to have a class with Steve Tulegan. So this is my challenge as well. The reason I'm giving it is because at the end of 12 class, I'd like to see how many of you really understand a British native speaker. So if you understand, that means my mission became successful, right? That's the thing. So please type in the chat box certificate if you'd like to get a certificate. Okay, so if you'd like to get a certificate, how many presentation you have to post in the Facebook group? Type in the chat box 12. So my question is, if you'd like to get a certificate, how many presentation you have to give to get a certificate? Type in the chat box. So someone is asking that give us the link on the Facebook group. Okay, definitely we're gonna do that. Definitely we're gonna do that. Okay. Definitely we're gonna do that. Thank you for responding. So thank you. So now, if you have got any questions, please type in the chat box. I'll answer you in a minute. Then we're gonna jump into the class. Any questions at all? Jodi apnader kono question thake, please type in the chat box. Then we're gonna jump into the class. Okay, today's class is all about the be verb, right? So be verb means, type in the chat box. What's the meaning of be verb? Type in the chat box. I'd like to see. খুব দ্রুত আমাকে কমেন্টে জানিয়ে দিন যে be verb এর মানে কি. So what do you mean by be verb? Please type in the chat box very quickly. Very quickly. Please type in the chat box very quickly. Very quickly, type in the chat box. What do you mean by be verb? Okay. Very quickly, type in the chat box. Okay. Okay, getting a lot of comments. So, okay, that's right. So we're gonna use this be verb for 3 types of situation, right? So if you'd like to become something, for example, I want to be a doctor, I want to be an engineer, I want to be a fluent speaker. So if you'd like to be something, then we're gonna use be verb. That's the first thing, right? যদি আপনি কিছু হতে চান তাহলে আমরা কি ইউজ করব be verb. That's the first thing. Second thing is if you'd like to express yourself, how are you? Are you sad? Are you excited? Are you motivated? In this sort of situation, we also use be verb. And number 3 is if you'd like to say something where you are right now, so we also use be verb. So I have shared 3 types of situation where we're gonna use be verb, right? So আমরা 3 ধরনের সিচুয়েশনে আমরা be verb ইউজ করব। একটা হলো হওয়া, একটা হলো আপনার অবস্থা বা অবস্থান। এই তিনটা, হওয়া, অবস্থা এবং অবস্থান। Can you please type in the chat box in Bengali হওয়া, অবস্থা এবং অবস্থান? So if you'd like to express these 3 types of situation, definitely we're gonna use be verb. So number 1 is if you'd like to become something, we're gonna use be verb. Number 2 is if you'd like to express yourself, so what's the situation right now? Are you motivated, excited? Then we're gonna use be verb. And also if you'd like to ask, give the answer, where are you right now? Your position, right? So your location, then we should use also be verb as well. So that's the 3 ways we're gonna use be verb. So now I'm gonna ask you, can you please type in the chat box, what's the present form of be verb? What's the present form of be verb? Okay, thank you, Shariful. So he said হওয়া, অবস্থা এবং অবস্থান। Exactly. So আপনি যদি এইরকম 3টা সিচুয়েশন থাকে, হওয়া, অবস্থা এবং অবস্থান, then definitely we're gonna use be verb, right? So there are 3 types of be verb. So it's present, past and future, right? Present, past and future. So please type in the chat box, what's the present form of be verb? I'd like to see. Okay, thank you, Shakil. Shakil said am is are. Excellent. Can you please type in the chat box am is are? Please type in the chat box am is are. That's the present form of be verb. Am is are. Am is are. Excellent. Thanks for responding. Am is are. That's the present form of be verb. That's the present form of be verb, right? So I'm getting a lot of comments. So please be participate, right? So Faisal says am is are. Abdul Awal said am is are. Abdul Qadir said am is are. Razumullah said am is are. Okay, thank you. Thanks for responding. That's the present form of be verb. Okay. Now, next question I'm gonna ask you, what's the past form of be verb? Past form. Please type in the chat box. What's the past form of be verb? Type in the chat box. Past, right? So is was where? Type in the chat box. What's the past form of be verb? Okay. So today I'd like to share with you a story, and probably it's gonna help you a lot to understand who I am. Do you know that I failed in test in SSC? So SSC te ekta test exam hoy na, so I failed in English, right? And somehow I managed to pass SSC. Then barely I got the pass mark in HSC as well in college, right? So now we can understand ইংরেজিতে আমি কখনো ভালো ছিলাম না, right? So then I studied at University of Chittagong, and I didn't learn English from the university because there was no course like English. And all of a sudden, when I was doing my master's, one day, one of our lecturers, so he was teaching us Second World War, right? দ্বিতীয় বিশ্বযুদ্ধ সম্পর্কে পড়েছিলেন. By the way, I studied history, right? আমি হিস্ট্রিতে পড়াশোনা করেছি from University of Chittagong. Then, so তার ক্লাসে একটা রুল ছিল that if you have got any questions, you got to wait. At the end of the class, you're gonna ask the question. But I forget to, apply that rule. I just, raised my hand and I asked him, what do you mean by embargo? Right? The word was embargo. So can you please type in the chat box, what's the meaning of embargo? I didn't know that time. So I raised the hand and I said, sorry, sir, I didn't understand. What do you mean by embargo? Right? And he was furious. He was angry. And he said, get out from my class, right? And I was kicked out from the class. That was kind of blazing for me as well. And that day, I took the decision that I got to learn English, right? And for only that insult, I'm here today. So now, I'd like to ask you, have you made the decision that you're gonna learn English? Type in the chat box, yes or no. Have you already decided that you're gonna learn English, whatever it takes? So if you have decided, please type in the chat box, I decided. I'd like to see how many of you really made the decision that whatever it takes, I'm going to learn English. So if you have already decided, please type in the chat box, decided. Okay. So yeah, that's right. Embargo means nishedagga, right? So now you can see that, Russia versus Ukraine and a lot of Western countries, they put sanction, they put embargo, right, on Russia. So this is the thing that was happening on Second World War as well. So that's why. Okay. So you made the decision. Congratulations. That's the only thing you need to do, is you got to make the decision, right? And number two is you need to find a mentor who can help you, who can guide you, who can teach you how to achieve whatever you want to achieve. So there are two things you got to do in your life. Number one is make the decision, and number two, go to someone else who have been through this journey. Okay, let me explain to you in Bengali. আপনাকে জীবনে দুইটা জিনিস করতে হবে। একটা হলো আপনাকে সিদ্ধান্ত নিতে হবে যে আমি এটা করতে চাই অথবা এটা হতে চাই। নাম্বার টু হলো আপনাকে ফাইন্ড আউট করতে হবে একজন পারসনকে যিনি অলরেডি সেইটা হয়েছেন বা অ্যাচিভ করেছেন। Is it clear? Okay, so thank you for making your decision. Yeah, so that moment, can you remember I said about the University of Chittagong, a class in masters? My teacher kicked me out from the class because I didn't know the word embargo. So I made the decision that day, and yeah, I did whatever it took, right? So thank you for, I would say congratulations one more time, because you made the decision. Now you got to do is you got to follow my instruction every single day. So now, everybody wants to die. Everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. Do you agree with me? Everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. What does it mean? Type in the chat box in Bengali, Hindi, or Urdu, right? So right now, whatever I said, can you please translate it and put in the chat box? Everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. What do you understand? Type in the chat box. Everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. Type in the chat box. What do you mean by this expression, right? So I know you are here to be a fluent speaker, but how many would like to give time, energy, and effort, right? So that's the most important thing you need to understand. So if you'd like to be a fluent speaker, of course you can, and that's why you got to follow my instruction. You got to put your energy, time, and once you do that, you're gonna start speaking English. It's certain. There is no doubt, right? So okay, Arafat Sarkar says সবাই স্বর্গে যেতে চায় কিন্তু মরতেছে না. That's right. So this is the thing, right? This is the irony of our life. We understand it, but we don't follow it. Okay, so now let's get back to the class. So what's the future form of be verb? Type in the chat box. What's the future form of be verb? So present is am, is, are, past is was, were, and future is will be, right? So please type in the chat box will be, right? So now we understand that be verb. So we're gonna use be verb in three types of situations. So if you like to be something, if you'd like to express this expression, then you should use be verb. If you'd like to show, your feelings, I'm sad, I'm excited, I'm thrilled, I'm motivated, then you should use this expression, and you should use be verb. And the last thing is, if you'd like to say your location, then you should use be verb as well, right? So three forms of be verb we have learned. So present is am, is, are, past is was, were, future is will be, right? So these are the three forms of be verb. So if you really understood these three forms of be verb, please type in the chat box understood. I'd like to see how many of you really understood what I'm saying. So dear beginners, I'm confirming one more time. I know sometimes you will not understand 100%. That doesn't matter, right? Stay here. যারা beginner আছেন অনেক কিছুই অনেক সময় বুঝবেন না 100%. So don't leave the class. Stay with me for next 12 days. Promise yourself challenge yourself for next 12 days. I'll help you out and you'll be able to speak English, right? আপনারা যারা beginner আছেন, don't leave the class. যদি 20টা ক্লাস, 12 ক্লাস যদি আপনি আমার সাথে থাকতে পারেন, ইনশাআল্লাহ আপনি ইংরেজিতে কথা বলবেন। This is my promise, right? So don't worry, যদি আমি আপনাকে বাংলায় যদি কিছু না বলি এবং আপনি যদি ইংলিশে না বুঝেন, আপনি মনে করে নেবেন সেটা আমার জন্য ইম্পর্টেন্ট না, রাইট? যেই জিনিসটা খুব ইম্পর্টেন্ট আমি বাংলা এক্সপ্লেন করব, রাইট? সো মেক শিওর you understood, right? So okay, so present is be verb is am is are, past is was are, future is will be. So these three sorts of be verbs we're gonna use for three types of situation, right? In Bengali আপনারা বলেছেন যে হওয়া, অবস্থা এবং অবস্থান, এই তিন ধরনের এক্সপ্রেশন আমরা যখন ইউজ করতে যাব তখন আমরা be verb ইউজ করব। এক্সেলেন্ট, থ্যাংক ইউ। সো we're gonna move forward, right? And we're gonna go such a way so that everybody will understand, right? So now what I'm gonna do, I'll just pull out my presentation so that you can see my presentation. Okay, got it, thank you. So let me see. So can you please type in the chat box if you see my presentation? Please type in the chat box, I see. I'd like to see. Type in the chat box, I see. Okay, I think you can see my, okay. Just type in the chat box, yes, I see. I'd like to see how many of you can see my presentation. Okay, excellent, thank you. Thank you. So, okay, this is the 12 days speaking challenge. Before it was 10 days, that's why it shows 10 days. So 12 days speaking challenge. So we named it Speaking English in 12 days. And now I'd like to share with you a few things before going to the practice class, right? So who we are. So we are the #1 student consultancy firm. We help students to study at UK universities, and also we are at Canada and USA. Amra holo UK student consultancy firm. আমরা স্টুডেন্টদেরকে ইউনিভার্সিটিতে ভর্তি হওয়ার ব্যাপারে হেল্প করি। We have got offices in London, Birmingham, Manchester, Montreal, Lahore, and Dhaka and Sylhet, right? And so this is the, okay, so that was the Zoom. That's its different instruction. Okay, so here you go. Here you go. Okay, so this is the be verb you have learned. So present is am is are, past is was were, future is will be. It's very clear, right? Present is am is are, past is was were, future is will be. So now these are the subjects we're gonna use: I, we, you, they, he, she, it, Tony. So আমরা যখন ইংরেজি সেন্টেন্স তৈরি করতে চাই তখন আমাদের যেটা খুব খেয়াল করতে হয় সেটা হলো কি, কিভাবে সেন্টেন্স স্ট্রাকচার তৈরি করা যায়। সো উই গোনা স্টার্ট ফ্রম ভেরি স্ক্র্যাচ। আমরা একদম শুরু থেকে শুরু করব, রাইট? সো ইংরেজি সেন্টেন্স তৈরি করার জন্য উই নিড সাবজেক্ট এন্ড ভার্ব। সাবজেক্ট এন্ড ভার্ব। সো টুডে উই গোনা ইউজ বি ভার্ব ইনস্টেড অফ ভার্ব, রাইট? আমরা জানি যে ইংরেজি সেন্টেন্স তৈরি করতে দুইটা জিনিস দরকার, একটা হলো সাবজেক্ট আর একটা হলো ভার্ব। আজকে আমরা ইউজ করব কি, বি ভার্ব। সো let me ask you, what are the subjects we're going to use? Can you please type in the chat box? Amra ki subject use kori to make sentences? What sort of subjects we're going to use? Please type in the chat box. It's I, we, you, they, he, she, it, Tony. Can you please type in the chat box? Shobai to comment type koren je ki subject amra use kori. I, we, you, they, he, she, it, Tony. Type in the chat box. So these the, okay, Shamsul asked what's the meaning of embargo. Embargo means nishedagga. Shamsul, thanks for asking this question, right? So please type in the chat box all other subjects: I, we, you, they, he, she, it, Tony. Right? I'd like to see everyone else. Please type all the subjects. So Abu Said Robi said I, we, you. Okay, so the reason I put you twice, duibar ami use korechi, because one is single you, means apni, and you means altogether apnara, right? So one is single, one is plural, so that's why we use twice you. So use the same way: I, we, you, they, he, she, it, Tony. Okay, I, we, you, he, she, it, Tony. Okay, thank you. Thank you for commenting. So I, we, you, they, he, she, it, Tony. Okay, now it's very simple. Now we're gonna, can you remember I said learning, practicing, and presentation. So we have learned, these are the subjects, these are the be verbs. So this is the time to practice, right? So can you please type in the chat box practice? Now this is the time to practice. So please type in the chat box practice if you understand what I just said, right? So learning, practicing, and presentation. So we have learned about the be verb, where are you going to use, what are the subjects, what are the be verbs, what are the present form, past form, and future form. Now it's time to practice. Let's practice, right? So we're going to practice this structure. So before that, I'd like to make sure that you understood. So please type in the chat box practice. Thank you. Thank you. So we're going to practice. So this is how we're going to practice. So I am a student. So if you would like to say something like one, then you put a noun, an article like a. And if you have got more than one, you just put plural s, right? So I am a student. We are students. You are a student. You are students. They are students. He is a student. She is a student. It is a student. Tony is a student. Okay. So for the sake of practicing, we are saying it is a student, nothing else, right? So this is how we're going to make a lot of sentences. So using the present form, I have made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 sentences, right? So we're going to practice this together. So once I say 3, 2, 1, go, you got to practice with me. I am a student. I was a student. Sorry, I am a student. We are students. You are a student. You are students. They are students. He is a student. She is a student. It is a student. Tony is a student. Ready? So once I say go, you need to give me these 9 sentences. Do you understand? If you understand, please type in the chat box, I do. I'd like to see how many of you really understood what I just said. আমি যখন আপনাদেরকে বলবো 3, 2, 1 go, আমার সাথে সাথে আপনাদেরকে কি করতে হবে? প্র্যাকটিস করতে হবে, and loudly, জোরে জোরে প্র্যাকটিস করতে হবে, because learning, practicing, and presentation. So these are the 3 phases we're gonna follow through the course, right? Learning, practicing, and presentation. Don't write, practice with me. Ready? So 3, 2, 1 go. Start. I am a student. We are students. You are a student. You are students. They are students. He is a student. She is a student. It is a student. Tony is a student, right? So if you made already 9 sentences, can you please type in the chat box 9? I'd like to see how many of you really made 9 sentences. Type in the chat box very quickly. আমি দেখতে চাই কতজনের 9টা সেন্টেন্স তৈরি করে ফেলছেন। যদি আপনি 9টা সেন্টেন্স তৈরি করে ফেলেন, please type in the chat box 9. Okay, so now quickly type in the chat box 9. So now we're going to practice with past form, right? So was, where. So I was a student. We were students. You were a student. You were students. They were students. He was a student. She was a student. It was a student. Tony was a student. Okay, excellent. So thank you for commenting. Shafi said 9. Sadia said 9. Asuduzaman said 9. Kazi Hasib said 9. Okay, thank you. Thank you for responding. Thank you for responding. So thank you. So you don't need to write. আপনাকে লিখতে হবে না, আপনাকে আমার সাথে প্র্যাকটিস করতে হবে. So you made 9 sentences, right? Now we're going to practice with past, right? যখন আমি বলবো 3, 2 go, you got to practice with me. So ready? 3, 2, 1 go. Practice. I was a student. We were students. You were a student. You were students. They were students. He was a student. She was a student. It was a student. Tony was a student, right? So how many of you made 9 sentences using the past form? So please type in the chat box past form if you made 9 sentences. Jodi apni past form use kore 9টা sentence তৈরি করে ফেলেন, please type in the chat box past form. Past form. That's the thing I'd like to see. How many of you made 9 sentences using past form? Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thanks for responding. Thank you for responding. So now, next thing is will be, right? So using will be, we're gonna make a lot of sentences. Okay, so I know there are a lot of beginners. Probably they will really struggle to understand. So you ebang you ami duibar use korechi because you holo apni ba tumi ekjon আর ইউ হলো সেকেন্ড হলো আপনারা বা তোমরা, রাইট? যখন সিঙ্গুলার হয়, সিঙ্গেল ইউ হয় আপনি বা তুমি, তখন আমরা ইউজ করব ইউ ওয়্যার আই স্টুডেন্ট, ইউ আর আই স্টুডেন্ট, রাইট? আর যখন একের বেশি হয় আপনারা বা তোমরা, তখন আমরা ইউজ করব ইউ ওয়্যার স্টুডেন্টস, ইউ আর স্টুডেন্টস, ইউ উইল বি স্টুডেন্টস। ক্লিয়ার? এন্ড হি এন্ড শি, আমরা যদি পুরুষ জাতীয় হয় তাহলে আমরা ইউজ করব হি, আর যদি মহিলা হয় তাহলে আমরা ইউজ করব she. So this is the only thing you need to understand. আপনাকে সব গ্রামার জানতে হবে না, but if you practice you're gonna learn it automatically, right? So don't bother about the grammars, right? So please type in the chat box past form if you made already 9 sentences using the past form. Please type in the chat box past form. Past form. Okay. So Zohra Khatun said past form. Soror Ahmed said I was a student. Okay, all you got to say is past form. Apnake jeta korte hobe comment e past form likhe janan. Then we're gonna move to the future form, right? So for the future, we're gonna use this way: I will be I student. We will be students. You will be I student. You will be students. They will be students. He will be I student. She will be I student. It will be I student. Tony will be our student, right? So that's the thing you got to practice. So now I'm gonna invite you to practice with me using the future form, and we're gonna make 9 more sentences, right? Future form use kore amra ekhon aro 9টা sentence তৈরি করব. Are you ready? If you are ready, please type in the chat box ready, READY. So future form use করে 9টা সেন্টেন্স তৈরি করব। আপনারা যদি এখন রেডি থাকেন প্লিজ কমেন্টে জানিয়ে দেন রেডি, READY. সো কিভাবে আমরা 9টা সেন্টেন্স তৈরি করব? I will be a student, we will be students, you will be a student, you will be students, they will be students, he will be a student, she will be a student, it will be a student, Tony will be a student. This is how, right? So I'd like to see how many of you are ready. So Shumon Nilay said ready. Karim said ready. Saleh Ahmad Khan said ready. Ali Shoak said ready. Sadia said ready. Okay, thank you. Thanks for responding. Do you know the difference between player and spectator? If you know, please type in the chat box. So a spectator means who is watching the match. For example, if you are a football fan, you go to the gallery, you sit there and you watch, right? And player, who come to the field, who plays the football. So if you'd like to be a fluent speaker, you got to be a player, not be a spectator. So if I tell you something to comment on the chat box, you got to do this. If I tell you something to practice with me, you got to practice. Do you understand? Right? So don't be a spectator. Dorshok hoben na. Be player hon. Participate korun, right? Be active. So now, okay. So a spectator means dorshok, and player means খেলোয়াড়, right? So if you'd like to be a fluent speaker, you got to be a player, not a spectator. Okay, now, so we're gonna practice with will, right? So ready? আপনারা আমার সাথে practice করবেন. So please practice with me. 3, 2, 1, go. I will be a student. We will be students. You will be a student. You will be students. They will be students. He will be a student. She will be a student. It will be a student. Tony will be a student. Right? So how many of you practice with me and made 9 sentences? Please type in the chat box 9. Type in the chat box 9. I'd like to see how many of you made 9 sentences with me practicing future form. Just put the chat box 9. And now learning, practicing, and presentation. So now we're gonna practice a bit more. We're gonna make 27 sentences, right? We're gonna start with present form, then using past form, then using future form. So 9 plus 9 plus 9. So we're gonna make all together 27 sentences right now. Are you excited to make 27 sentences? If you are, please type in the chat box excited. I'd like to see how many of you are really excited to practice 27 sentences right now. Comment in the chat box 27. I'd like to see. I'd like to see how many of you. Okay, so we're gonna start with present form, 9 sentences, past form, 9 sentences, future form, 9 sentences, all together 27, right? So how many of you are really excited to make 27 sentences? Please type in the chat box excited. I'd like to see. Okay. Okay, Arafat Sarkar said excited. Murul Haq said excited. Rajumullah said excited. Rimon said excited. Ratul Ghosh said 27, excited. Okay, okay, okay. Thank you. Thank you for responding. Sabina Ajishmin said 27. Saleh Ahmad Khan said yes. Okay, now we're gonna start, right? So we're gonna start with present form, then past form, then future form. So 9 sentences, 9 sentences, 9 sentences. Are you ready? So you need to practice with me. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Let's start. I'm a student. We are students. You are a student. You are students. They are students. He is a student. She is a student. It is a student. Tony is a student. Now past form, right? I was a student. We were students. You were a student. You were students. They were students. He is a student. Sorry, he was a student. She was a student. It was a student. Tony was a student. Now future form. Future form, right? So I will be a student. We'll be students. You will be a student. You will be students. They will be students. He will be student. She will be a student. It will be a student. Tony will be a student. Got it? Right? So have you made 27 sentences? Have you made it? So if you made 27 sentences, please type in the chat box, made it. Just say made it, right? So the first class, learning, practicing, and presentation. We're going to go for the presentation in a minute. So learning, practicing, and presentation. Okay. Okay. So just type in the chat box, made it. Made it. I'd like to see how many of you made 27 sentences. Okay. Abdul said done. Shumon Niloy said made it. Musharraf Khan said made it. Arafat said made it. Ali Shuak said made it. Okay. Okay. Niva Akhtar said made it. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So after making 27 sentences, right? How do you feel inside? Type in the chat box. Do you feel good? Do you feel awesome? Do you feel motivated? Do you feel excited that, okay, I have started learning, I have started practicing, and I'm going to give the presentation, right? So how do you feel? Type in the chat box. I'd like to see. After making 27 sentences, how do you feel now? Okay, Rajumullah says, what's the difference between you and you? Okay, Raju, the first you, that means singular, tumi ba apni, and the second you means tomra ba apnara, so plural. So you are a student, jodi singular hai. If it is singular, you are a student. If it is plural, you are students. I think you understood. Okay, so Atul Islam said, feeling good. Rahul said, well, said excited. I feel good, feeling motivated. Okay. Feeling great. Okay. Excited, made it. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for responding. So now we're going to go to the next part. That is, there you go. So we made 27 sentences. Now, this is the thing. We're going to introduce yourself using the be verb. Using the be verb, we're gonna introduce ourselves. So can you please type in the chat box, how do you use be verb to say your name? আপনার name কিভাবে আপনি বলেন be verb use করে? Please type in the chat box. For example, me, my name is Hassan Habib, or I am Hassan Habib, or this is Hassan Habib, right? So I'm using be verb. My name is, I am, this is. So how do you say your name? Please type in the chat box very quickly. Type in the chat box very quickly. How do you say name using be verb? Okay, very quickly. So for example, for me, I will say my name is Hassan Habib, or I am Hassan Habib, or this is Hassan Habib, excuse me. Okay, so Adriza Karim said my name is Adiba. Okay, thank you for responding. My name is Alamgir Hossain. Thank you. Thank you. My name is Sadi Islam. Thank you for responding. I am Rafi. Thank you. I'm Raju. Thank you. Thanks for responding. Yeah. So this is how we're gonna say our name. My name is, I am, or this is. Okay. Next thing is hometown. Hometown. So I would say I am from Borishal. This is how I'm gonna say where is my hometown. I would say I'm from Borishal, or I'm from Bangladesh, right? So type in the chat box, where are you from? What's your hometown? Very quickly. So I am from. Okay, so make the full sentence. Don't play shortcut, right? So say I'm from Hobbyganj. I am, okay. Nurul Haq said, I am live in Dhaka. Nurul Haq, this is the wrong sentence, right? So say, I am from Dhaka, right? I am from Sylhet. Okay, excellent. I'm from Sylhet. I'm from Lahore. Excellent. Thank you. Thanks for responding. I'm sorry. I can't speak Urdu. Otherwise, I would explain in Urdu and Hindi as well. I do apologize for that, right? So, but I'll make sure that I'll explain in English in such a way so that you can understand. So type in the chat box, how do you say, where are you from? I'm from Bangladesh. I'm from Borishal. I'm from Dhaka. Okay, thank you. Thanks for responding. So now, resident. So I'm a resident of UK. So what's your residency? Type in the chat box. Where do you reside? So I'm a resident of UK. So type in the chat box. How do you say for yourself? I'm a resident of UK. Type in the chat box very quickly. Number 3, using the be verb, how do you say what's your residency, right? Type in the chat box. So for me, I would say I'm a resident of UK. I'm a resident of UK. So if you are a resident of Bangladesh, you should say I'm a resident of Bangladesh. I'm a resident of Pakistan. I'm a resident of India, right? So type in the chat box. Okay, I'm a resident of. Okay, thank you. So not I'm residence, I'm resident, right? Make sure you're spelling. I'm a resident of the UK. Okay, so this is how you need to express yourself. Next thing is profession. So what's your profession? For example, I'm a teacher. Probably you are a student, you are an engineer, you are a doctor, whatever your profession. Type in the chat box. How do you express your profession using the be verb, right? Type in the chat box very quickly. So Sarwar, it should be I am a resident of Moulibazar, not I residence of Moulibazar. Got it? So sentence to hobe I am a resident of Moulibazar. All right. I am a resident of Moulibazar, right? I am a resident of Moulibazar. Okay. So next thing is profession. So who you are. So I'm a student, I'm an engineer, I'm a doctor. For me, I'm a teacher, I'm a businessman, I'm an entrepreneur, right? So type in the chat box. Okay, Romana said I'm a homemaker. Shuman Rai said I'm an accounts officer. Shuman. Nipun Ghosh said I'm an engineer. Okay, excellent. Zakir Hussain said I'm a student. Okay, excellent. Thank you. Thanks for responding. Don't be a spectator, be a player, right? So next thing is, so what's your father? My father was a high school teacher, and now he's late, right? So what does your father do? Type in the chat box. How do you say using the be verb? What's your father? Type in the chat box. My father was a high school teacher, but now he's late. So type in the chat box, what's your father? Right? So now the next one is mother. So what's your mother? Please type in the chat box very quickly. What's your father and what's your mother? Okay, Shibli Volok said, I'm a student, and said, I'm a doctor. Okay, thank you. Thanks for responding. So my father is a doctor. There's a businessman. Okay. So what's your father? Please type in the chat box. Very quickly. My father was a principal, but now he's no more. Okay, sorry to hear that. My father is a farmer, Susan said. My mother is a homemaker. Saleh Ahmad Khan. Ekta A missing আছে, right? My father is a, my mother is a, right? So this is how I need to pronounce. My father is a, my mother is a, right? So my mother is a homemaker. অনেকেই article A miss করতেছেন। একটা A বসিয়ে দেন। My mother is a homemaker. Okay. Niva Akhtar, excellent. That's right. My mother is a homemaker. Okay, excellent. So my father is a businessman. Excellent. So I think you got me. So যখনই বলবেন তাদের প্রফেশন বলতে হবে my father is a, my mother is a, right? So this is how I need to. Okay, next thing is how many family members are there? How many members are there in your family? So for me, there are 7 members in my family. Type in the chat box. How many members are there in your family? There are 7 members in my family. Type in the chat box. How many members are there in your family? How many members are there in your family? So for me, there are 7 members in my family. There are 7 members in my family. Okay. Mushfiq said there are 7 members in my family. Excellent. Excellent. So there are, Saleh Ahmed said there are 6 members in my family. Okay. There are 7 members in my family. Okay. Excellent. So there are 3 members in my family. Sadia, thank you for responding. Shipu said there are 7 members in my family. Excellent. Thank you. Thanks for responding. So this is how I need to say it. There are 5 members, there are 7 members, there are 2 members in my family. Now, I would like to say something using the past form, right? So I was a student of Ashokati Primary School. Type in the chat box. What was the name of your primary school? Using the past form. I was a student of Ashokati Government Primary School. Type in the chat box. What's the name of your school? I was a student of University of Chittagong. I was a student of Ashokati Govt Primary School. So type in the chat box. What's the name of your school? What was the name of your school? Very quickly, type in the chat box. I was a student of Ashokati Govt Primary School, right? So, okay, thank you. Mohammad Suzan said I was Molika Government Primary School. Okay, no, Mohammad Suzan, you need to say I was a student of Molika Government Primary School. Adrija Karim said I was a student of Ishwardi Primary School. Excellent. I was a student of Dula Hazra Sister Niketan. Okay, excellent. This is how I need to say I was a student of. Okay, excellent. Thank you. Thanks for responding. I was a student of Bornomala Adarsh School. Okay, excellent. I was a student of Nerkalai School. Okay, I was a student of Rayer Bazar High School. Okay, excellent. Thank you. You got it. Now, the next thing is hobby. So for me, my hobbies are teaching and traveling. So if you have got one hobby, then you should say my hobby is teaching. If you have got 2 hobbies, then you say my hobbies are teaching and traveling. Type in the chat box. What's your hobby? If you have got 1 hobby, my hobby is. If you have got 2, my hobbies are. Type in the chat box. যদি আপনার একটা হবি থাকে তাহলে বলবেন my hobby is, আর যদি আপনার একের বেশি হবি থাকে তাহলে বলবেন my hobbies are teaching and traveling. Okay, so please type in the chat box. What's your hobby? Very quickly, type in the chat box. So what's your hobby? Okay, my hobby is reading books. Excellent. Excellent. My hobby is watching movies. Excellent. My hobbies are cooking and traveling. Excellent. My hobby is travel blog. Okay, my hobby is blogging. Okay, Shibli, my hobby is blogging. My hobbies are teaching and traveling. Okay, Shiblu, it has to be hobbies, right? Eker beshi hole ki hobe? Hobbies. Ekta hole hobby, eker beshi hole hobbies. So if you have got one hobby, my hobby is. If you have got one more hobbies, then my hobbies are. Okay, excellent. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for responding. I'd like to see everyone's comment, right? So, okay. My hobby is traveling. Excellent. My hobbies are reading books, gardening, and listening to music. Okay, excellent. Excellent. Thank you. Thanks for responding. So next one is future plan. Let's say I will be a teacher of million students, right? That's my future plan. I will be a doctor. I will be a fluent speaker. So what's your future plan? Please type in the chat box. What's your future plan? I will be a fluent speaker. I will be a doctor. I'll be a businessman. So what's your future plan? Please type in the chat box. What's your future plan? Type in the chat box very quickly. So now you're gonna get a lot of fun out of this presentation because this is the real thing you're gonna get. এতক্ষণ আপনারা যা শিখছেন প্র্যাকটিস করেছেন কষ্ট করে এইটার বেনিফিট আপনি এখন পাবেন Are you ready for the getting benefit? If you are, so please type in the chat box ready, right? So type in the chat box ready. I'd like to see how many of you are really ready to get the benefit out of this time, effort, and energy. Type in the chat box ready. Okay, so I'm getting a lot of comments. So Shibli said, I'll be fluent speaker. I'll be a student. I'll be a businessman. Okay. Rajamala said, I'll be a programmer. Excellent. And said, I will be a billionaire. Okay. I will be a nationist. Okay. Excellent. 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 Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Now we're gonna do the presentation, right? So this is how I need to say, right? So you're gonna give a presentation. Hi, everyone. Good morning. My name is Hassan Habib, and I'm from Bangladesh. I'm a resident of UK, and right now I'm a teacher. My father was a high school teacher. My mother was a primary school teacher. There are 7 members in my family, and I was a student of University of Chittagong. My hobbies are traveling and teaching, and my future plan is to be a teacher of million students. Right? Thanks for listening to me. Okay. Have you noticed how I started? Hi everyone, good morning. My name is Hassan Habib. I'm from Bangladesh. I'm a resident of United Kingdom. I'm a teacher. My father was a high school teacher and he's late. My mother was a primary school teacher. She's late as well. So late means she's no more, right? And there are 7 members in my family. I was a student of University of Chittagong. My hobbies are teaching and traveling, and I will be a teacher of million students. Thanks for listening to me. So this is the presentation, simple presentation, right? So you got to do. So how many sentences I made? Only 10 sentences. Now I'll invite you to give a presentation with me. Once I say 3, 2, 1, go, you need to give a presentation, right? Once I say 3, 2, 1, go, you need to give a presentation. So ready? So 3, 2, 1, go. Let's start. Hi everyone, my name is Habib and I'm from Bangladesh. I'm a resident of United Kingdom. I'm a teacher.
My father was a high school teacher. My mother was a primary school teacher. There are 7 members in my family, and I was a student of University of Chittagong. My hobbies are teaching and traveling, and my future plan is to be a teacher of millions of students. Thanks for listening. Right. So type in the chat box, how many sentences you made in your presentation? How many sentences you made in your presentation? Type in the chat box. I'd like to see. How many sentences have you made in your presentation? এই প্রেজেন্টেশনটায় আপনি কয়টা সেন্টেন্স তৈরি করেছেন? Please type in the chat box. 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 Okay, a lot of students are saying, Salame said 10, Prita said 10, Roni Shah said 10, Mustafa Khan said 10. Excellent, congratulations. Sarah said 10, Imtiaz said 8, Mushfira said Khan said 10. Okay, that means now you can introduce yourself smartly, right? So now my question is, can you introduce yourself? If you can, please type in the chat box, yes, I can. I'd like to see how many of you can give a presentation and you can introduce yourself. How many of you? Type in the chat box. If you can, please type in the chat box, yes, I can. Okay, Ali Shak said yes. Tasnima Fatima said yes, I can. Mirza Sadman said yes, I can. Ali Shak said yes, I can. Thank you, Ali Shak. Thank you, Shifa Khan. Thank you, MD Azad. Thank you, Nurul Haq. Thank you, Lima Chaudhary. Thank you, Shibli Rabbani. Thank you, Romana. Thank you, Mushfira Khan. Thank you, Sadia Islam. Thank you, Saida Ashikur Rahman. Thank you, Nivata. Thank you, Luba Begum. Thank you, Nirupam Ghosh. Thank you, Sarah Ahmed. Thank you. Now, yes, you can. I know. So we're going to practice one more time, right? One more time, you're going to practice. So once I say 3, 2, 1, go. And this time we have got a challenge. You got to give this presentation using only one breath. I repeat. You got to give a presentation using only one breath. এক নিঃশ্বাসে আপনাকে এই প্রেজেন্টেশনটা দিতে হবে, right? Don't take more than one breath. So if you can do it, that means you have practiced well and you are ready to give a presentation, right? So how many breaths you gonna take? Type in the chat box. কয়টা নিঃশ্বাস নিতে হবে পুরো প্রেজেন্টেশন দিতে? Type in the chat box, please. How many? How many breaths you have to take? So using only one breath, you got to give this presentation. This is the challenge, right? And if you practice this way, you will be able to speak English in 12 breaths. So type in the chat box, how many breaths are you going to take? কয়টা নিঃশ্বাস নেবেন আমাকে কমেন্টে জানান এই প্রেজেন্টেশন দেওয়ার জন্য আপনি কয়টা নিঃশ্বাস নেবেন excellent so MD Ali Shak said one breath Rimon said 1 Imtiaz said 1 Alamgir said no I'm not sure what you mean by Alamgir Sarar said 2 okay Sarar if you take 2 breaths that means you didn't practice properly right if you did practice properly you would be able to give 10 sentences in one breath. So all I want from you is just using one breath, you got to give a presentation. Right. So let me try. This is how I need to say. Right. Let me take a sip of tea. This is how I need to practice. So hi everyone, good morning. My name is Ahsan Habib and I'm from Bangladesh. I'm a resident of UK. I'm a teacher. My father was a high school teacher. My mother was a primary school teacher. There are 7 members in my family. I was a student of University of Chittagong. My hobbies are traveling and teaching, and my future plan is to be a teacher of millions of students. So this is how I need to practice, right? So we're gonna practice one more time. Ready? So 3, 2, 1, go. Let's start. Hi everyone, my name is Hassan Habib. I'm from Bangladesh. I'm a resident of United Kingdom. I'm a teacher. My father was a high school teacher. My mother was a primary school teacher. There are 7 members in my family. I was a student of University of Chittagong. My hobbies are traveling and teaching, and my future plan is to be a teacher of millions of students. That's it. Thanks for listening. Right? So this is how I need to practice. Okay. Okay. Now I got a question for you. I know you practice with me, right? So how many breaths have you taken? If you have taken 1, say yes. If you have taken more than 1, say no. যদি আপনি একটা নিঃশ্বাসে সবগুলো সেন্টেন্স তৈরি করে থাকেন, টাইপ ইন দ্য চ্যাট বক্স yes. যদি আপনি একের বেশি নিঃশ্বাস নিয়ে থাকেন, টাইপ ইন দ্য চ্যাট বক্স no. I'd like to see. I'd like to see how many of you really made it. Really made it. Okay, so Nafiza, can you please just on the YouTube, can you please just give the link of our Facebook group where the students will give the presentation very quickly, right? So and also you're gonna get your link on the WhatsApp group as well. So the name of the group I'm gonna show you right now. So whose group you need to join? Where is Facebook? Okay, thank you. Thank you for responding. Thank you for responding. So if you couldn't make it in one breath, that means you need to practice more, right? So this is the name of our Facebook group, UK Study Visa, right? So all you need to do is you need to join this group to give your presentation. And how we're gonna give your presentation, I'm gonna show you in a moment. So you need to practice 10 times in front of the mirror. Type in the chat box. What's the meaning of mirror? Mirror meaning ki? Comment জানান আমাকে. So practice 10 times in front of the mirror, right? So you're gonna stand in front of the mirror and you're gonna give a presentation. Hi everyone, good morning. My name is Habib. I'm from Bangladesh, right? How many times? 10 times. And all you got to do is you need to record on your phone. So you're gonna take the phone, something like this, and then say, hi everyone, good morning. My name is Habib. I'm from Bangladesh. I'm a resident of UK. I'm a teacher. My father was a high school teacher. My mother was a primary school teacher. And I was a student of University of Chittagong. And I'd like to be a teacher of millions of students, right? This is how. And then press the button, record it, and then upload on the Facebook group, right? So we have changed the name of this group. It has to be UK STUDY Study Visa. So this is the group you need to join. And next thing is once you upload this video, then you need to watch 5 to 10 videos from others. আপনাকে যেটা করতে হবে অন্য যারা ভিডিও আপলোড করছে তাদের ভিডিও দেখতে হবে, because sometimes we get inspiration, right? Okay, সে খুব ভালো বলছে, এই জায়গায় এই ওয়ার্ডটা ইউজ করেছে, I can use that as well, right? So that's why you need to watch at least 5 more videos. If it is 10, is excellent, right? And then you need to, after watching this video, you need to comment positive way. Well done, excellent, awesome. Because you know, in this world you will find negativism easily. You need to find out some sort of positive people, right? So আমি যখন ইংরেজি শিখতাম তখন you know, a lot of students, a lot of my friends, they call me crazy, mad, blah blah blah, right? And some of them, they start laughing at me. They say, okay, you know, doing IELTS, are you going to India? you know, but I didn't tell anything. And what I did, I answered them with my work, with my achievement, with my activities, right? So আপনি যখন ইংরেজি শিখতে যাবেন তখন আপনি অনেক কিছু ফেস করবেন. You'll face a lot of struggles, a lot of problems. If you invite one of your friends, can you please practice with me? And if you study speaking with them, they're gonna say, oh yeah, right? So how many of you face this sort of problems? Please type in the chat box me. ইংরেজি শিখতে গিয়ে অনেক লাঞ্ছনা, বঞ্চনা, গঞ্জনা এগুলা শিকার হয়েছেন কে কে? Please type in the chat box me. So to learn English, how many of you struggle a lot and face a lot of negativism, a lot of problems, a lot of struggles? Type in the chat box me. I'd like to see, right? So if you get this sort of struggles, this sort of negative people, that means you are on the right track. আপনি কিভাবে জানবেন যে আপনি রাইট ট্র্যাকে আছেন? যখন মানুষ আপনাকে নিয়ে সমালোচনা শুরু করবে, ক্রিটিসাইজ করবে, নেগেটিভ কথা বলবে, দ্যাট মিন্স ইউ আর অন দ্য রাইট ট্র্যাক, রাইট? আমিও যখন ইংরেজি শিখতাম, আমার অনেক বন্ধু বান্ধব ইউনিভার্সিটির হলে তারা আমাকে মস্কারি করতো, পাগল বলতো, ক্রেজি বলতো, রাইট? সো আই ওয়াজ শকড, বাট আপনার শক হওয়ার কোনো কারণ নেই, রাইট? সো ইউ নিড টু আন্ডারস্ট্যান্ড দ্যাট আই এম অন দ্য রাইট প্লেস, এন্ড দ্যাটস ওয়াই। আর যদি লোকজন আপনাকে আজে বাজে কথা না বলে, that means you are not in the right place. So to get a really good environment, this is your environment. You can see it's 15.2 thousand people. Members are here, positive people are here. So if you upload a video, they'll comment, awesome, excellent, outstanding, right? Keep it up. So this sort of comment you're gonna get motivated, right? And also you should reply them. Thank you for your motivation. Thank you for responding. Thank you for your comment. Thank you for a nice comment, right? So these are the things you got to do. So let me recap. So all you got to do is you need to practice this presentation 10 times in front of the mirror. That's the first thing. Then you need to record on your phone like this. Then you need to submit this inside the Facebook group. The name of the Facebook group is UK Study Visa. And once you upload your video, then watch 5 videos or 10 videos, and then pass some positive comment like well done, excellent, awesome, right? And then get ready for the next class. I'll request 5 people. Okay, so as we are not taking the class on Zoom, so I can't do that. So I'd like to see your presentation inside the group, and I will watch it and I will comment how you did it, right? So how many of you would like to give a presentation tomorrow? How many of you would like to give a presentation tomorrow? If you'd like to give a presentation tomorrow, please type in the chat box presentation. Please type in the chat box presentation. Okay, Zubair said, I have faced a lot of negative effect. Yeah, that's right. And now I'm giving you the platform where people will encourage you, motivate you, right? So make sure you give your presentation, right? So please type in the chat box presentation if you'd like to give a presentation tomorrow. I'd like to see how many of you would like to give a presentation tomorrow. Can you remember what I said is learning, practicing, presentation. So if you miss one part, you won't be able to speak English fluently, right? So you got to learn. That means you got to come to the class on time. You got to practice. So when I invite you to practice, you got to practice with me. And number 3 is you need to give a presentation every single day. Every single day. Don't miss even a single day. Right? So যারা বিগিনার আছেন তাদেরকে বলবো, আপনার মনে হতে পারে যে আমি কি প্রেজেন্টেশন দিব, আমি পারছি না, রাইট? Still you need to give a presentation. আমার তো আমার নিজের উপরে বিশ্বাস নাই, ওকে, আমি আমার টিচারের উপরে বিশ্বাস করে আমি প্রেজেন্টেশন দেব। সো প্লিজ ডু দ্য প্রেজেন্টেশন। আপনি যদি প্রেজেন্টেশন না দেন তাহলে আপনি এই কোর্সের বেনিফিট কিছুই পাবেন না, এবং আপনি 12 দিনে ফ্লুয়েন্ট স্পিকার হতেও পারবেন না। সো learning, practicing, and presentation. So you have learned how to use be verb, you have practiced with me a presentation and you need to give a presentation. So learning, practicing, presentation. So now type in the chat box, how did you find this class? Is it okay, excellent, outstanding? আজকে আপনাদের ক্লাসটা কেমন লাগলো? Please type in the chat box. I'd like to see your comment. I'd like to see how I personally did it, because this is my responsibilities for next 11 days, right? I'll make sure I'm healthy, though I'm coughing today. I'm healthy, I'm on time in the class, and I get prepared myself for the class as well, right? So this is my responsibility. I promised you that if you attend this 12 class and if you listen to me, learning, practicing, and presentation, you will be able to speak fluently in English, right? So type in the chat box. আজকের ক্লাসটা আপনাদের কাছে কেমন লাগলো? Type in the chat box very quickly. I'd like to see. I know you are busy and it's weekend for us, so I don't work on Saturday, Sunday, so I like to have quality time with my family. Probably it's a nice weather outside. It's sunny. Probably we're gonna go somewhere else to have something. Yeah, so thank you for joining today's class. I'm honored. I'm privileged to serve you. If you've got any problems, যদি আপনার কোনো সমস্যা থাকে, we have got lots of admins on your WhatsApp group. Please ask for help. They will help you. They'll be able to answer your questions. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna read some comments. So Kashumia said excellent. Jabir said gorgeous. Roni said outstanding. Purnima Alam said এইভাবে পড়লে ইনশাআল্লাহ পারবো. Of course, inshallah, right? It's excellent, outstanding. Okay, great. Yeah, it's good. Okay, thank you for joining to this class. I'd like to make sure that you give a presentation, and if you just follow these three things, learning, practicing, and presentation, is guaranteed you'll be able to speak English in 12 days. And I'm not gazing, I'm telling you from my experience. আমাদের বিগত ব্যাচের প্রায় 12টা ব্যাচ শেষ হয়েছে, যারা প্রতিনিয়ত আমার কথা শুনছে, লার্ন করছে, ক্লাসে প্র্যাকটিস করছে আমার সাথে এবং প্রেজেন্টেশন দিয়েছে, তারা সবাই ফ্লুয়েন্ট স্পিকার হয়েছে. If you scroll down from this group, UK study visa, you will see a lot of presentation from a lot of students. আর আপনি দেখবেন যে যারা last batch was 10 days speaking challenge, now is speak English in 12 days, right? So this is my challenge, this is your challenge as well. So once we promise, once we commit each other, inshallah, you'll be able to speak in English, right? So having said that, I'd like to say goodbye here and see you tomorrow next time in the same place, same time. So make sure you get ready for a class with pen and paper. And last thing, I'd like to make sure that if you miss anything from this class, the class is recorded on YouTube. I would recommend you to watch it time and again. আমি আপনাদেরকে recommend করব এই ক্লাসটা আপনারা কয়েকবার দেখেন, right? So ক্লাসের টাইটেল দেয়া আছে যে speak English in 12 days, how to introduce yourself smartly. This is the class title. So I would definitely recommend you watch it time and again, and that's going to help you a lot to understand the whole thing. যদি আপনি বিগিনার হয়ে থাকেন, এই ক্লাসটা কয়েকবার আপনি রিপিট করে দেখেন, এটা আপনাকে অনেক হেল্প করবে, right? So thank you, see you tomorrow. Allah Hafiz everyone. Bye bye.